ready, folks, because we're diving deep into a week that's bursting with astrological energy. It's going to feel like a whirlwind of transformation and shakeups.
Definitely a week to buckle up for.
We're talking major shifts across the board. So let's break down what's making this week so unique.
Well, the sun's moving through Scorpio. Scorpio always brings intensity.
Right, digging deep, facing those shadows.
Exactly. It's about embracing change and transformation. But that's not all.
There's more. What else is adding to this cosmic intensity?
It's like the planets are having some tense conversations this week, and we're feeling the effects. For example, the sun's in a contraparallel with Uranus.
Uranus, the planet of surprises.
Yeah, so that means we might experience some sudden changes, disruptions, things that force us to think outside the box.
So flexibility is key this week. I'm getting that message loud and clear. What else should we be prepared for?
Well, the sun's also forming a quincunx with Jupiter.
Jupiter, expansion, optimism, abundance. I thought that was a good thing.
It is. But this particular aspect can bring some restlessness, a feeling that things are out of balance.
Like trying to juggle too many things at once and feeling like you're dropping the ball.
Exactly. It's a cosmic nudge to reevaluate our goals and priorities. Make adjustments where needed. It's a reminder that sometimes growth means letting go of what's no longer serving us.
Okay, so we've got transformation, surprises, and a call to reevaluate. Definitely sounds like a week that requires some extra mindfulness. Is there any good news in this astrological forecast?
Absolutely. Despite the intensity, there's a beautiful opportunity for growth and inspiration. It's like a silver lining.
I like silver linings. Tell me more.
Well, remember Uranus, that planet of surprises? We talked about how it's clashing with the sun.
Right.
Well, it's also forming a harmonious sextile with Neptune, the planet of dreams and spirituality.
So a little bit of magic amidst the chaos.
Exactly. This aspect supports creative problem-solving, spiritual insights. Finding those innovative ways to navigate the challenges. It encourages us to tap into our intuition, connect with our higher selves.
Okay, so transformation, surprises, a call for reevaluation, and a sprinkle of cosmic magic. This is starting to sound like a pretty epic week.
It definitely has the potential to be.
So what's the best way to navigate all this energy? What should we keep in mind?
The key is to stay grounded and centered. With all this tense energy swirling around, prioritize self-care. Find healthy ways to manage stress. This is not a week for rash decisions.
Okay, so no impulsive moves.
Got it.
Instead, cultivate flexibility and be open to unexpected detours.
Flexibility and deep breaths. Got it. What about communication? Any specific areas where we should be extra mindful of how we're expressing ourselves?
Absolutely. Mars, that planet of action and assertion, is opposing Pluto, the planet of power and transformation.
Oh, that sounds intense.
It can create power struggles and conflicts, so it's important to choose your battles wisely. Avoid getting caught in unnecessary drama.
So pick your words carefully, especially when dealing with authority figures or intense situations. Exactly. And with Mercury, the planet of communication, squaring Saturn, the planet of restrictions and responsibility, misunderstandings and delays are possible.
Ugh, I hate when Mercury goes retrograde. But it sounds like even without a full retrograde, things could get a little messy.
Right. So this week, double-check your emails, be patient with communication breakdowns, and try to express yourself clearly and concisely.
Okay, so deep breaths, flexibility, and mindful communication are the key takeaways here.
Definitely keep those in mind, and you'll navigate this week with much more ease.
But I know our listeners are eager to hear how this cosmic cocktail will affect them personally. So are you ready to dive into the sign-by-sign breakdown?
Absolutely. Let's explore how this week's energy might play out for each zodiac sign, starting with the fiery Aries.
Perfect. Aries is always up for a challenge. But how will they handle this week's intensity?
Well, Aries gets a boost of energy on the 12th when the moon enters their sign. This will amplify their already dynamic nature, make them feel even more enthusiastic and driven.
Sounds like a good time to tackle those big projects.
Yeah. Yes, but they'll need to watch out for potential conflicts in their relationships. Venus, the planet of love and harmony, is forming a quincunx with Mars, which can create tension and disagreements.
So a bit of a balancing act for Aries this week. Passionate energy, but with a need for mindful communication in relationships. What about Taurus? Will they be able to stay grounded amidst the cosmic whirlwind?
Taurus finds some stability when the moon enters their sign on the 14th. This grounding energy can help them stay centered and focused on their priorities. However, with the sun in Scorpio opposing their sign, partnerships and financial decisions might require extra attention.
So Taurus, enjoy the grounding energy, but proceed with caution in those key areas. Next up, we have the ever-curious Gemini. How will they navigate this week's communication hurdles?
Gemini needs to be extra careful with their words this week, especially with Mercury. Their ruling planet squaring Saturn. Misunderstandings and heated discussions are more likely, so they'll need to practice active listening and choose their words carefully.
Diplomacy is key, Geminis. Now let's move on to Cancer, the sensitive water sign. How will they fare in this emotionally charged week?
Cancers might feel a bit overwhelmed by this week's intensity. With Mercury squaring Saturn, they could experience communication challenges, especially within the family. It's important for them to prioritize self-care and emotional support. The good news is that the moon's transit through Taurus midweek offers a grounding influence.
So a bit of a roller coaster for Cancer, but with moments of stability to help them through. Now let's talk about Leo. How will the spotlight-loving lions handle this week's shadows?
For Leo, the sun in Scorpio is shining a light on their most private and sensitive areas. This can be a time of deep introspection and emotional processing. With Mars opposing Pluto power, struggles, particularly in the workplace, are possible.
So Leos might need to channel their inner diplomat this week.
Exactly. It's a time to act with strategy rather than impulsivity, and to focus on collaboration rather than competition.
Strategic lions. I like it.
Oh.
What about detail-oriented Virgo? How will this week's cosmic chaos affect their meticulous plans?
Virgo might find their usual organizational skills tested this week thanks to Mercury's challenging aspects. They could experience delays or frustrations, especially with the Mercury-Saturn square. This week calls for patience and flexibility for Virgos, and maybe a little less focus on perfection.
A good reminder for all of us, really. Flexibility is definitely a theme this week. Let's see what's in store for Libra, the sign of harmony and balance.
Well, for Libra Venus, their ruling planet is in a tricky aspect with Mars. This could create tension in relationships and highlight the need for compromise.
So Libras might need to put their peacemaking skills to work this week.
Exactly. It's a week for them to prioritize clear communication, finding common ground, and remembering the importance of compromise in any relationship.
Always a good reminder, especially this week. Now let's move on to Scorpio, the sign of the moment. What does this week have in store for them as the sun journeys through their sign?
With the sun in their sign, Scorpios are feeling their power, but the contra-parallel with Uranus could bring unexpected changes or a need to break free from limiting situations. Sounds intense even for a Scorpio. So what's the best way for them to navigate this energy?
They'll need to embrace their transformative nature while avoiding power struggles. This is a time for them to assert their independence, embrace change, and trust their intuition.
Sounds like a week of big moves for Scorpio. Now let's see what's happening with adventurous Sagittarius. How will they handle this week's call for flexibility?
The sun's quincunx to Jupiter Sagittarius's ruling planet might challenge their usual optimistic outlook. They might need to adjust their expectations and be open to a change in plans.
So a reality check for Sagittarius this week?
In a way, yes. This week is about finding balance between their big dreams and the realities of the situation. It's about adapting to unforeseen circumstances without losing sight of their long-term goals.
Good advice for all of us, really. Let's move on to Capricorn, the ambitious and disciplined earth sign. What does this week hold for them?
Capricorns might feel the weight of responsibility this week as Mercury squares Saturn, their ruling planet. This could bring extra challenges in the workplace or delays in projects. So a potentially stressful week for Capricorn. Any advice for navigating these challenges?
With their inherent determination, they can power through by staying focused, organized, and prioritizing clear communication to avoid misunderstandings.
Classic Capricorn resilience. Now let's see what's in store for innovative Aquarius. How will they handle this week's unpredictable energy?
With Uranus, their ruling planet, making some key aspects, Aquarians can expect the unexpected. This week could bring sudden shifts, particularly in technology or group dynamics.
Sounds like a typical week for Aquarius. What's their best strategy for navigating these shifts?
They'll thrive by staying adaptable, embracing new perspectives, and using their innovative thinking to solve problems and find creative solutions.
Sounds right up their alley. And last but not least, we have Pisces, the dreamy water sign. How will they navigate this week's emotional currents?
Pisces has a unique opportunity this week with Neptune, their ruling planet, sextile Uranus. This brings a blend of inspiration and innovation, a perfect time for creative pursuits.
So a week for Pisces to let their imagination soar.
Absolutely. It's a time for them to tap into their intuition, explore their creative potential, and trust their inner guidance.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground here. It sounds like this week is going to be an astrological adventure for all of us.
You're absolutely right. This week is packed with cosmic energy that has the potential to bring about significant transformations in all areas of our lives.
So as we move into the next part of our deep dive, I want to encourage our listeners to reflect on their own sign's forecast and start thinking about how they can use this energy to their advantage.
That's a great idea. Remember, these are just general tendencies, and the way this energy manifests in your life will depend on your unique birth chart and individual circumstances.
Exactly. Astrology is a guide, not a rule book.
Right.
But by understanding the cosmic energies at play, we can make more informed choices and navigate life's ups and downs with greater awareness and intention.
You know, it's amazing how each sign will experience this week's energy so differently.
Right. It's like we're all on this cosmic journey, but each with our own unique path.
Exactly. And some signs might have a smoother ride than others this week.
So are there any signs that might find this week particularly challenging? Or conversely, any that might have a more harmonious time?
Well, every sign will feel the intensity in some way, but certain signs might experience it more acutely. For example, Aries and Scorpio.
Those fiery, passionate signs.
Exactly. With that Mars-Pluto opposition, they might find themselves dealing with more conflicts or power struggles.
So those signs might need to practice extra patience and mindfulness this week.
Definitely. Choosing their battles wisely. Remembering to take those deep breaths.
What about signs that might find it easier to ride the waves this week?
Well, Earth signs like Taurus and Virgo tend to be more grounded and practical.
Right. They're all about stability and routine.
Exactly. So they might find it easier to stay centered and focused on what matters. They'll still feel the tension, of course.
But their natural stability can be an asset.
Absolutely. And remember, even if a sign is prone to feeling the tension more intensely, that doesn't mean it's all doom and gloom.
Right. Challenges can be opportunities for growth.
Exactly. It's all about how we choose to respond to the energy.
So let's talk about specific areas of life. How might this week's energy affect our work relationships, health, and finances?
Okay, well, in terms of work, this week's energy is all about ambition and drive.
So a good week to go after those goals.
Definitely. You might feel a surge of motivation to tackle big projects, but with that Mars-Pluto opposition, it's important to be mindful of potential power struggles and competition.
So stay focused on your goals, but avoid getting caught in any unnecessary office drama.
Exactly. Assertiveness is key, but so is diplomacy.
Right. It's about finding that balance.
This is a week where collaboration and teamwork will bring much better results than going it alone.
What about relationships? Any advice for navigating the ups and downs this week?
Well, with Venus and Mars in a challenging aspect, misunderstandings and conflicts are more likely to arise.
Oh, no, not relationship drama.
Doesn't have to be drama,
Uh-huh.
but it's definitely a week to be mindful of how we're communicating with our loved ones.
So it's more important than ever to practice active listening and empathy.
Absolutely. This is a week to really try to understand where your partner, friends, family are coming from.
Even if we don't agree with them.
Exactly. It's about finding compromise and remembering that you're on the same team.
What about our health and well-being? Any astrological tips for staying balanced amidst the chaos?
With all this intense energy, self-care is absolutely essential.
Self-care is always important, but especially this week.
Right. This is not the week to burn the candle at both ends.
So making time for those restorative practices.
Yes. Exercise, meditation, spending time in nature, anything that helps you de-stress and recharge.
Right, because if we're not taking care of ourselves, we can't show up fully for anything else.
Exactly. Self-care isn't selfish. It's essential.
And finally, let's talk about finances. Any astrological insights for managing our money wisely this week?
Well, this is not a week for impulsive spending or risky financial decisions.
So maybe hold off on that online shopping spree.
Good idea. With the sun's aspects to Uranus and Jupiter, there's potential for both unexpected expenses and a desire to overindulge.
So stick to the budget and resist those tempting splurges.
It's a good week to review your finances, make sure you're on track with your savings goals, and maybe explore new avenues for increasing your income.
So practicality and mindfulness are key when it comes to finances this week. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, is there anything that stands out to you as particularly significant about this week's energy?
You know what's really fascinating to me is the interplay between that intense transformative energy of the sun in Scorpio
Right.
and that more ethereal spiritual influence of the Uranus-Neptune sextile.
It's like we're being pulled in two different directions.
In a way, yes. It's like we're being called to face our deepest shadows while simultaneously connecting to a higher purpose.
That's a powerful combination.
It is, and it has the potential to be incredibly transformative.
So it's not just about surviving the week, but also about using this energy to evolve and grow.
Exactly. This week holds the potential for profound transformation, both individually and collectively. But it requires us to be conscious and intentional about how we navigate the challenges and embrace the opportunities. It isn't just about getting through the week, it's about using the energy to create positive change in our lives.
This week is packed with so much to think about. It's like a cosmic toolkit has been handed to us.
It really is.
But it's up to us to figure out how to use these tools, right?
Exactly. We have all these powerful energies around us this week, that intense energy from the sun in Scorpio.
Right, and then those unexpected shifts from Uranus.
And of course, the call for balance from Jupiter. And don't forget that touch of magic from the Uranus-Neptune sextile.
So as we head into this week, what's the most important thing for our listeners to remember? How can they make the most of all this energy?
I think the key is to approach the week with a sense of curiosity and openness.
So instead of fearing the intensity or the unexpected,
Embrace it. See it as an opportunity for growth and transformation.
so it's not about resisting the energy.
Not at all. It's about leaning into it.
I can see how that could be challenging, though. This is a week where we might be pushed outside of our comfort zones.
Where you might be confronted with challenges or forced to make changes you weren't expecting.
That sounds a little daunting. Any advice for navigating those uncomfortable moments?
Remember what we talked about earlier: self-care, flexibility, and mindful communication.
Right. Those are our superpowers this week.
Exactly. Deep breaths, staying open to change, and choosing our words carefully, those are all going to come in handy.
And don't forget to tap into that Uranus-Neptune energy.
Yes, that spark of intuition and creativity. This is a week where innovative solutions and unexpected breakthroughs are possible.
So if we can stay open to the possibilities and use these cosmic tools wisely.
You can emerge from this week stronger and more aligned with your true selves.
That's a beautiful thought. This has been such an insightful deep dive. I've learned so much.
Me too. It's always fascinating to explore these cosmic energies.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this astrological journey. We hope this deep dive has given you some valuable insights.
And that you feel empowered to navigate this week with intention and awareness.
As we always say, the stars are simply a guide. Ultimately, you have the power to create your own destiny.
So go out there, embrace the cosmic energy, and make this week your own.
Until next time, may the stars be